Cattles from ESPN Radio. Keefe and I, 2-0 so far in this postseason together. Bruins, tough start. Totally outplayed in the first period, Rich. Came back in that second period, gets a couple of goals up on the board. Then Tuukka gives up a soft goal. Here we are, third period, up 2-1.
Yeah, they really withstood it there, or Tuukka withstood it in the first period. I mean, he was fantastic. They came out like crazy, and he had a bunch of awesome saves. I didn't know if Carolina had that in them, to be honest. I mean, after what the first two games looked like, but the home crowd was into it. It was loud. They were flying around, and so Tuukka kept them in it. And then those goals in the second period, great start by the Bruins there. And it's funny, Nick, because the second period had been their issue for most of the playoffs, or most of the season, really. Like that was when they had struggled, it had been second periods, but this was a different story. Carolina made it a game, though, and so 2-1 here going into the final period.
They did, and you're right about Tuukka. I mean, that first period, Tuukka was unbelievable. He made at least 5 or 6 ridiculous stops. I'm not going to rake him over the coals. You and I were talking about this before we came on. Twitter 2019, you get on Tuukka for a little bit of a soft goal, but by no means are we killing Tuukka. We understand how incredible the guy has been in this playoff run, and he's been spectacular tonight. It's just, that's a tough goal to give up. Now it's 2-1 instead of 2-0, and that's a huge difference. Gets Carolina's crowd into this. Other than that, I think the story of this game is really Justin Williams for Carolina, who can't control himself, Keefe. I mean, he's simply out of control. He talked about it after game 2 that he was going to be much better and keep his emotions in check, and here he is acting like a dink.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who has got more experience than anybody on that team. He's won it all. He's the captain of the team. Marchand's given him the C on the shirt last week. So, hey, there's the ball. Or last game, there's the box. And then he's doing the stupid crap once again. He's getting into a tussle with Torrey Krug, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Like, you can't give the Bruins a power play. And so Justin Williams, shocking of all the guys on their team to commit dumb penalties here in Game 3. That is surprising.
And, of course, as always, guys, you can get involved by clicking on the fan line up in the corner, and we'll take your phone calls. You pop up on the screen with myself and Keefe as we talk some Bruins hockey here in the third period, 19 minutes to go. Counting down minute to minute. Bruins up 2-1. If they can get up 3-0, obviously, needless to say, gigantic. Alex says, nice to see an opening. Actually, let's jump down. I mean, nice to see an opposing goalie with some fight. And I think McElhinney's been pretty good. He's had a couple of tough stops. First period, I don't really know what to make of that first period for him. I think he had 6 shots on goal that he had to stop, if that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the Bruins were really testing him. In the second period, they did a much better job of testing him, and they found they found the net 2 times. So I don't want to overreact. He's looked a little bit better than Mrazek looked, but let's see what happens in this third.
Yeah, I mean, he made a couple of nice glove saves, and I just think he was better than Mrazek, and that's what they needed.
There's Tuukka again. What a save by Tuukka sliding across the crease, man. Moving across the crease.
The run that he has had, I was reading something earlier. They were updating, like, the Conn Smythe odds, and it's him and Logan Couture are, like, the top 2 guys. Marchand could get himself into the mix, but, the first, 4 or 5 games of the Toronto series, I thought he was fine. And then since then, he's been insane. Now, even though this was a soft goal today, he's had a number of just perfect placement. That one highlight reel where he got like 4 saves. Was one that they're going to be playing that a bunch. That was awesome. And
I thought early on what was big for the Bruins, we talk about how Tuukka was huge in the first period because he was. The Canes had 20 shots on goal in the first period. I think they had a total of like 32 or 33 shots in that period, which is just insane. But it wasn't just Rask. Got to give some credit to the penalty kill. They came up big. They had a 5-on-3 for a stretch after Krejci had that stupid-ass penalty on him, reacting. So I also give him some credit for the penalty kill. Ed says, he asked you this question here, Keith. Any reason why the Canes seem to target Krug early on? I don't know if it's the Canes targeting Krug or Krug targeting Williams, and then that kind of leads to it all.
I think those 2 guys just had like a beef, or I guess. I mean, Krug's obviously not the toughest dude or the biggest dude in the world. Maybe they feel like they can pick on him a little bit. He's an offensive defenseman, but he was holding his own there against Williams, and he did the right thing. He was the one that ended up drawing the penalty there. So I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know, as far as guys standing out, obviously Wagner gets the first goal. Marchand gets that kind of cheapie in the second one, kind of trickled on through. I think that the one guy that to me hasn't been as good tonight, and he's been great in the postseason. I think Brandon Carlos had a little bit of an issue tonight. He hasn't. But other than that, it's been, since that first period, it's been a pretty evenly played game. And, you do fear the idea of the Canes coming back and tying this one and then getting that juice. You know what I mean? Like, being down 2 goals to come back and tie this 2-2 would be obviously gigantic, Captain Obvious here, but also just the momentum. That's the kind of thing that might be able to swing a little bit of a series. I know people are taking this thing almost for granted after Sunday, but the Canes are really good at home. And if they can get some momentum in this third period, it's a series again.
When the Bruins were up 2-0 and they were on the power play, the guys on the broadcast were talking about how important the kill was. And they didn't go this far, but it really was – the series was on the line. Like, if it was 3-0, there was no way Carolina's coming back. And then they're also not coming back.
Oh, that's a trip. That's got to be a trip, right? That's got to be a trip. Absolutely. Good call. No doubt about it. So Bruins going to go –
You never know with the NHL refs what they're going to call.
By the way, what in the hell was that call against DeBrusk in the first period for the slash? That shit was insane. He literally did nothing. Like nothing.
No, they showed the replay too, and we're like, was that from that play? Or did we miss it? Was it like 2 minutes earlier? Like that it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, just insane. So here we go, a big time power play here for the Bruins. Mm-hmm. If they can somehow jump up 2 goals. And then you feel, listen, the way Tuukka's playing, if you can get any two goal lead in this series, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. The power play again. The story of the first series, Columbus did a pretty good job on it in the second series, and then in this series, the Bruins have certainly had their way. First couple of games, everybody seems to be locked in a little bit better, and we'll see. I'll tell you what, though, going back to McElhinney, what did you think of Brendan Moore trying to play coy earlier in the day and not say who his goaltender was?
Yeah, it's mind games. It's a little little silly shit. I found it hilarious when he was talking about mental fatigue when they had 5 days off between series. Like that to me, that shit is priceless. Wind it up, Krug. There we go, baby. It's gonna be goalie interference. You're gonna call goalie interference on DeBrusk. DeBrusk is saying that it's going to be good. We'll see what happens. It's waved off on the ice. But, yeah, that whole mental fatigue thing when you had 5 days off between series, that is just – that's classic.
5 days off. And then there was 2 days off in between game 1 and 2.
All right, let's see the replay here.
Yeah, what are they going to call here?
Oh, that's not on DeBrusk.
So this play has been – a couple of times in Bruins series and a couple of times in the other series in the playoffs. I don't know what's what. It's like a football catch, right? Like you have no idea, and every ref does it different. The interference here is they're not consistent at all. Don't you feel like Slavin pushed him into him?
I felt that way. And Cassidy's going to challenge this. I felt, DeBrusk doesn't make that contact if Slavin doesn't make that contact. But, I don't know. Edzo's trying to say that with DeBrusk being in the middle between goalie and Kane there, you're going to get some contact. I don't think DeBrusk does anything wrong there. I don't see it. Slavin gives him the bump.
Him.
This goes back to that goalie interference that was called a few games ago. When Nordstrom bumped somebody, and I don't see. There's no way. To me, McElhinney's coming out aggressively. Slavin is making the contact first.
I think McElhinney even makes contact too first. I don't think DeBrusk. He's obviously right there. He's right in front where he's supposed to be. And I think Slavin and McElhinney both engage with DeBrusk before he does anything.
I think this
should be a goal.
Yeah, I think this has to be a goal. I think McElhaney and Slavin initiated the contact.
Yeah, because you can see like where McElhaney's skate is, where he hits DeBrusk's.
And they confirmed the call, upheld. I don't agree with it.
He actually like tripped him. McElhaney tripped DeBrusk.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that call whatsoever. Again, what is DeBrusk supposed to do in this situation? McElhaney goes out there and trips him, takes his leg out. Slavin, meanwhile, takes his upper body out. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that play. I don't know. I disagree with it. I disagree with that call. I don't know what DeBrusk is supposed to do in that situation. The contact was initiated by the Canes. I think it's a soft call, or
they're
a wave off.
They're pretty lucky there. He's outside of the crease and he pushes him, and he actually trips him, and then Slavin pushes him, and so I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But hey, we got to see a minute 17 left on this power play.
Yep, still got time.
That's a big call in this game at this point. We'll see if the Bruins can come back and give this power play a little bit of juice here and have the answer. I question that call. I don't get that call. I don't know what DeBrusk is supposed to do in that situation. We got Felger on the fan line. Let's get Felger on here. Mike Felger joining us momentarily as we await his presence. 43 seconds left on this power play. Felger, your thought on that call?
It's a stupid challenge.
Is that a goal?
It was never coming back.
What's that?
That was never coming back. So that was a stupid challenge, and that's why
I feel like we don't know what the rule is on that. I feel like all playoffs long it's been to flip a coin.
I just think that was the call on the ice. He was climbing up his back. That was just never going to come back. I didn't like the challenge, and the call to me was. I don't know. I think he crawled up his back.
You just don't like replay, Mike. That's all that is.
To me, McElhaney initiates contact, lower body. Slavin initiates contact, upper body. I think DeBrusk is fine where he is. I don't think that happens unless the Canes initiate that contact, which they did. I didn't like the call, and now the Bruins will get a penalty here on Grzelcyk, it looks like. So we'll have a 4-on-4 for 5 seconds, and then for a minute 55, Carolina will be on the power play.
Yeah, again, I just think that was a pretty clear call for the ref to make on the ice, and it was never going to come back. So, I don't know. I thought that was a wasted challenge. And I don't love –
What do you think overall?
Yeah, overall, it's such a weird game because Rask is stealing you the game, yet he's the one that let him back into the game. Like, how do you get on Rask with that goal?
Yeah.
He's been out of his tits the entire night.
Yeah.
But, really, I don't get on him. But he's the reason you're winning, and he's also the reason Carolina's back into the game. Carolina also, missed a ton of opportunities. Was it Teravainen in the first 20 seconds has a home net to shoot at? He misses it. They had 5-on-3. Yeah. Carolina also blew. Teshikov, I can't pronounce his name, missed on the far post there. They had a few.
Period. I think their lack of skill is really kind of showing up. Like they had a few open nets that they just missed.
Yeah, they
had
they have the lowest payroll in hockey, and it sort of shows.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a 5-on-3 for $135 and couldn't do anything with it. And the Bruins escaped the first. Ass is handed to them completely, and to go into the intermission 0-0 after that first period, they got a lift out of that. They come out in the second period, they play much better. Carolina, as you said though, Mike. I mentioned this. I had tweeted it out a little bit earlier, about. The fact that Tuukka gave up that soft goal, and a couple people, come on, he's been incredible, but a soft goal is a soft goal, and that's a big one because now from 2-0 to 2-1, that's a game changer. It keeps Carolina in the game.
Yeah, people are complaining that my phone sucks, so I'm going to talk into it like a pizza, which I tell everyone else to do. I think that's fair enough. I just. You don't want to rag. You don't want to rag on a guy that's going.
We're talking to a ceiling right now.
All good.
Well, you want voice quality? Or you want my face? To me,
no, voice quality.
Yeah. I don't think you'll rag on Rask. You just sort of say,
"No, you can't."
How the hell does that happen? But still, now Carolina's got to score twice more on Rask, and I don't know. It feels like they steadied themselves after that goal. It's not like they fell apart after that goal. It's not like Carolina took over after that goal. I think the Bruins. Have not dominated, but, carried the balance of the play since then. That's a huge stop right there.
Oh, there you go. There's another one. Yep. Another big stop by Tuukka. Just unbelievable. What do you think about McElhaney, Mike? We were talking about him a little bit earlier. We had somebody comment that It's good to have somebody who's actually battling on the opposition between the pipes. I think it's tough. First period, the Bruins didn't challenge the guy. Second period, he gave up 2. So I don't think he's been a big upgrade here. I mean, he's been an upgrade, obviously, but you got to challenge the guy a little bit more.
Oh, no question. They haven't challenged. He's just a guy. He's there. He's not going to be as aggressive as Mazurek from what you hear, and so he's going to stop the ones that he should, but not make the big ones, which is, I think, what Carolina needed. I think Mazurek was a little too aggressive and took himself out of way too many plays. Big stop there, another one.
Another goal. Yeah, another stop. Unbelievable. Another save right there.
What do you guys think of Connor Clifton going coast to coast there? I was like, who the hell is this guy? What the hell is this?
He's a sneaky good little player.
Yeah, not bad.
And to me, another story in this game, just before I jump off, is Justin Williams losing his mind.
Yes.
Was it 3 or 4 penalties? I mean, that's their guy. That's their captain. That's their veteran leader. That's when he's supposed to set the tone, and he's getting baited by freaking Torrey Krug.
Yeah, and he got away with one too, where I think it was Backus, and they were all down by the net in front of in the crease, and he's pummeling Backus with punches, and that was a penalty that wasn't even called. So he could be called for 4 of 5 penalties tonight, and that's a guy who said after game 2 that he was going to keep his emotions in check, and he mentioned the poop sandwich and all that, and now all of a sudden he's out there losing his ever-loving mind. So that's been a big story in this game as well.
Okay, fellas, I'm going to jump off. You carry on.
All right, Felger, thanks. Bye. So Tuukka, a couple of big stops so far in this period. But really, I mean, Keefe, it's about the special teams tonight for the Bruins. They've been mostly fantastic on the PK. And again, the power plays done really, really well. So, Carolina, it looks like they're going to have to get a 5-on-5 here to tie this game up, because the way they're playing, their power play has done nothing tonight, even with that 5-on-3 we mentioned for a minute and a half.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you think about that, like if the shoe is on the other foot and you're the Bruins and you can't score on a 5-on-3, just how frustrating that is. And if you start to think about that a little bit later on, not only is your power play not working, but you have the advantage of all advantages and you can't get anything done. Again, credit to the guys that were out there on the ice, but also Tuukka during that time. So that's going to be frustrating for them. Yeah, the Bees do have 1 power play goal. Hasn't been quite as dominant as it was in the first 2 games, but still, I mean, you can't expect them to score, 50, 60% of the time on the man advantage.
I mean, it's been a hell of a lot cleaner. By the way, again, the fan line is in the upper right corner. You guys can click on that. You can come on live with Keefe and I as we talk about the Bruins are up 2-1, 10:36 left to go in the third period. And, needless to say, if you can get this win, the series should easily be over. I'm rooting for a sweep. Bob Seger's in town on Saturday night, so if they can get the sweep, I get to go to the Seger concert. You know what I mean? So
nice. I hear you. It's a personal thing. Yeah, you want the sweep because it's an actual rest for the first time too.
That's right.
Between series, and then you can sit back. You can hope that the Sharks and the Blues goes about 7 games. It's funny 'cause I thought it was going to be a shorter series. I thought the Sharks were going to be able to win pretty easily, but after watching some of last night's game, that thing could go 6 or 7.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with Bishop right now. So Bert checks in. He says Justin Williams is Mr. Game 7. Naturally, he loses his mind in games 1 through 6. We've got Eddie saying the Justin Williams Memorial penalty box. There's no doubt about that. And Mark agrees with us, Keefe. We did not agree with wiping that goal away.
Yeah,
I disagree with Felge about DeBrusque climbing up the back. I don't think so.
I didn't see it that way at all. No,
he's not in the paint. He's in front of the crease, and you've got McElhaney taking his lower body out pretty much. You've got Slavin taking his upper body out. They initiated the contact. I didn't like the call, but what are you gonna do? That's the shit that happens. You got to deal with it.
Right.
And you've got to move on. I believe we had somebody on the fan line. I don't know if we have someone on the fan line still. We'll keep an eye on that. If somebody pops up, they pop up. But that's, listen, we've talked about this a little bit, Keefe. The NBA is always talked about with the officiating, especially in the postseason. Oh, there we go. We got the caller.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
The ridiculousness of that goal getting pulled away. Not only did it look like the goalie was completely free out of the I'm sorry, I'm mumbling over my own words, but it looked like the defenseman was completely lifting the stick and pushing him into the goalie. I that's the view I saw. Was it looked like the defenseman was more or less in the way of the defenseman, and his left skate was coming up, which was forcing him backwards into the goalie. So it didn't look like it was incidental. It didn't look like it was an intentional movement towards the goalie.
No, I agree completely. I thought both Slavin and McElhaney both initiated contact, and if you look at the way DeBrusque was falling, it was completely away from the crease. He was just standing in the middle, like that's where he's supposed to be. So
it wasn't like he was falling into the goalie to try to prevent him from making the save.
I'm with you.
I mean, to me, it's almost to the point where you see some of these calls. It's time to put the goalie in a fucking bubble. If you're, if the guy's going to be allowed to just cruise around outside of his crease and just bump people and make that initiated contact and get the call.
And to me, that is now just becoming what the NHL is becoming. And just in general, I think there's too much replay now in sports. But now it's like, if you're in the breathing space of the goalie, no matter what, the goal's not going to go your way. And it seems just ridiculous to me. It doesn't seem like hockey anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. And they go the replay over and over again, but
it seems
not
like
all
3 or 4 times a game now we get some sort of call or some sort of a play that ends up having to be replayed. Like in the Toronto series, it seemed like it happened every 5 seconds, didn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
There was another goalie interference in that one too. Yeah.
All right, Alex, thank you, bud. That's a great chance right there. Looked like for Corrali right in front of the net. Didn't happen. That was Alex and Methuen on the fan line. I think all of us pretty much agree, other than Felger, big shocker. But I thought for sure, I disagree vehemently about climbing up his back. I think that's bullshit.
No, I didn't. That didn't happen.
We've got. Let me see if I can go back. Jeff, our goalie is just totally off limits of contact now. As I just mentioned, I guess put him in a bubble. Like if the goalie is allowed to make that kind of contact, I mean, if I'm Tuukka, if anybody's in front of my net, I'm just diving into the guy.
Throw a skate out there, throw a stick, a blocker. Who cares?
Just take his legs out. Ian and Clinton, he is on the fan line. We'll pull Ian up here. Jim says the Canes can't win without the refs. The refs have given them a little bit of a lift right now, because who knows what happens. There we go. What's up, Ian? How you doing, bud?
So the Bruins seem like they've sort of controlled the series up until this point, but it's been chippy as fuck. So do you guys think that it's sort of taking a toll on them, or do you think it's been working to their advantage throughout the period so far?
I mean, I think overall, clearly it's been working to their advantage. I thought more so in Game 2, Carolina tried to hit everybody, but they weren't really making any plays. Like they would go for a big hit, and then like the puck would squirt away, or like it didn't lead to anything positive for Carolina. And you could say maybe it'll catch up to some of those guys, like taking the big hits and hitting the ice. And they're going to feel that later on. But as far as on ice, or as far as the game and the results concerned, I don't think it's really.
Well, they've also been accidents too. Like they spent a lot of time in the box this game, also. So especially with Krug and Williams, they've been going at their throats. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Williams thing, and thanks for the fan line call, Ian. Much appreciated, buddy, as always. Listen, to me, Justin Williams. The Bruins are completely under his skin at this point. And if I'm the Bees, not right now because you're only up by a goal, you don't want to put him on the man advantage. But whenever you can take a little bit of a shot at Williams, you take the shot because he is somebody he's completely lost his emotions. He's got a hair across his ass for Krug, obviously. And if you can keep pushing that, you get the man advantage, then perfect.
Right.
So
for sure.
I think – once you get in between the guy's ears, and I think it's obvious that the Bruins are between his ears right now, there's no denying that. Let's go to Kevin, who is in Charlotte. I'm told that Kevin is in Charlotte, but he is a Bruins fan. He's on the fan line. Let's see if he's being honest with us. Kevin in Charlotte as the play resumes after the timeout. 2-1 Bruins, 9 minutes even left in the game. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm down in Charlotte. It's about 3 hours up to Raleigh. I wish I could make it up there for the game. So pretty disappointed about that. But Cattles, I'm kind of in the opposite boat as you. I'm rooting for the Bruins to sweep, but I'm going to Seager on Thursday night in Charlotte. So for a Game 5 elimination game on Saturday. Pretty obligated to go. I got a family member in the opening act, so got to go.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, nice.
But I mean,
nice. Well, give me his name. Maybe I'll get hooked up at the show on Saturday if they sweep. See how we can do that.
Apparently, Seager's pretty frugal with the tickets, I've heard, for family members and stuff.
Is he?
Heard from a family member, but yeah, I mean, I think the refs kind of need to put the whistle back in their pockets a little bit. I mean, a couple of those calls, and I think it was the second, looked a little soft. That one on Krug after the play by the net is kind of soft. I think they should kind of let him play a little bit more. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
Thanks, Kevin. And thanks,
yeah,
buddy, for the fan line call.
I think we've seen that a lot, Nick, in the whole playoffs. Really, like I think there's been a lot of times where it's just kind of all over the place. Like remember the Sean Corrali roughing penalty last game, and we're like, what is this? Like it's the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing? But then they'll let that same thing go, 5 minutes later. So it's just been kind of up and down. I don't think either team advantage from it, but it's just been kind of hard to tell what's a penalty sometimes and what's not.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. Now, I was about to make the point, I think before we took a fan line call, about people get on the NBA officiating all the time. The NHL officiating has been abysmal in this postseason. Yeah. And that, the slash on DeBrusque, I mean, that's just an embarrassing call. There's literally nothing there to be called, and you're calling it. And you're not only calling it, you're calling it in a playoff game. Like, there's no room for something like that. We'll see what goes on here. I will say one thing about McElhinney tonight. Giving up a fair amount of rebounds. And I'm wondering, if the Bruins, they're picking up on that a little bit, get some traffic in front of the net and maybe tuck away a rebound here, because he is giving up some rebounds.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he regrets that in the end. But it's something to keep an eye on as this period goes on and as this series goes on. That's a nice pass. And there's Rask somehow, somewhere. There's a little bit of traffic in front of him, but he makes the stop. That was scary. Eric asks us a radio question, Keefe.
Yeah.
How do you guys not swear on the radio, Keefe?
I
think it's like you fear your job, right?
It's a good question. Yeah, I want
because you don't want to lose your job.
I want to stay on the air. Yeah, it's interesting because it's not like I never swear in my regular life, but it's just I don't know.
I've got an awful mouth. I don't
know, like Nick, you're kind of just used to it, I guess. Like when you sit in front of like a microphone, maybe in the studio, like you don't. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you just know, right?
You just know.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously there's a dump button if need be. The producer can dump you if he has to, but he's actually never had to do that. Knock on wood for me. I've never sworn on the air.
Nice play. Is that by Nordstrom? Nice play. I thought Wagner was going to get a chance out of that. I've swore once on the air, and that is because of Mr. Adam Jones. Got me so frustrated. Keith, you've been there before.
What'd you say?
I ended up telling Jones that he just throws shit up against the wall.
Okay.
And Jonesy's bet, his reaction was the best. There's Tuukka again as the Bruins give up another chance right in front of Rask. But Jonesy's reaction was the best. He didn't miss a beat. About within a half a second, he's like, I don't think we could say that.
It was Jeremy. You dump that, Jeremy. Jeremy, dump that.
Yeah, it was great stuff. Jeff says the ref in the neutral zone made that call on DeBrusque. Yeah, neutral zone. Yeah, that's like when you have an NBA game and the dude that's standing on the sideline near the beyond 3-point land. Yeah, right around half court, and there's a foul underneath the basket. And the guy 2 feet away from the foul doesn't make the call. The guy 40 feet away makes the call. It drives you literally insane. Joanne checks in. She says, great stop by Tuukka. She also said, I thought the officials in the playoffs were supposed to be the best of the best. Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Yeah, right.
They're absolutely supposed to be.
They are, but we haven't really seen evidence of that.
5:50 left. Carolina, they absolutely have the momentum here. It'd be nice to see the Bruins get a little bit of zone time to try to wrestle away some of this momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Bruins kind of on their heels a little bit over the last, I'd say, couple of minutes. And, we'll see if they can try to wrestle this thing away over the next minute or so and put some pressure on McElhinney. Again, I don't think –
Nah, he's nothing.
I don't think McElhinney's been spectacular. Nah. I mean, he really hasn't had to face many tough chances tonight.
No.
The first period was a breeze.
Right.
There's another chance for Carolina. Rask has to come up with the stop, kind of a weak shot, but still he has to come up with the stop. So Carolina, the Canes absolutely have the momentum right now in this game. Let's see. Bert says Cattles is the one that has to deal with Adam Jones. How he doesn't swear is wild. Well, I used to. Both you guys and now Arcan on the one that has to deal with Jones. How he doesn't swear. Yeah. We did have to deal with Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Both Keefe and I.
I don't know Part of the gig.
I don't know if we have any Jones PTSD, but we made it through. we made it through. So let's put it. Let me get a prediction from you right now, Keith.
Yeah.
Let's say the Bruins score their third goal. Let's say that happens. Who gets it?
Let's go with Johansson.
Oh, how good has he been, huh?
He's had a great playoff run, just an awesome playoff run.
I mean, Jesus, the guy.
That was one of the good saves McElhinney had actually earlier in the game was on Johansson. He had a good shot on it.
Yeah.
What about you? Who's your pick?
I feel like I want to see Torrey Krug.
Okay.
A defenseman with the goal, just so he can go over to Justin Williams and just give him the business. Like, score the goal, go up 3-1, skate over to Williams and let him know that you just did it. And see Williams react as he just cries and weeps like Joel Embiid.
He'd melt down.
He'd have an Embiid. He'd have an Embiid sobbing.
It's like have a cry.
Oh, let's see. Jeff just sent us a message. I hope it's Krug who scores. Jim says Coyle. Everybody watching us right now. Everybody watching us right now. I was going to go with Coyle. I went with Krug instead. Everybody watching us right now here on Fancred, third period live. You can call us on the fan line. Let us know if we're going to get a third goal out of the Bruins. Who you got? We got Coyle a couple times. We got Krug. I say Krug. Keefe goes with Johansson. Yeah, back to Johansson. He's been
great.
He's been spectacular. His ability to keep the puck in the zone, stay strong, along with Corrali's another guy who does that, who just continues. Yeah, he just earns extra seconds. You know what I mean? A possession time. He did it in the second period where he looks like when you're watching the NBA and those guys, you know, the point guards, they dribble underneath the basket, and they go all the way around, and they keep dribbling around. That's Corrali on the ice. Like he has the ability.
Yeah, for sure.
Bert says the third goal will come from Dougie Hamilton, an own goal. By the way,
I can see it.
Hamilton, he has made at least 3 or 4 terrible decisions in this game, and they pointed this out.
Yeah.
Carolina was on the 5. They were on 5-on-3, right? They were in the 5-on-3.
Oh, he's out in like no man's land.
Yeah, and they're waiting. They're waiting for him to skate in towards Tuukka, and he's literally just standing there picking his ass with the stick. Yeah. It's truly amazing. Oh, that's a block by Wagner. He just took that one in the rib.
Oh,
all right, we got some goal predictions, Keith. Okay. Tim says Big Z with the next goal.
Yep.
Julio says DeBrusque.
Okay.
William says Krug. Joe says Krug or Carlo. William says
no goals for Carlo.
Yeah. William says Carlo's a good one. I think Carlo's been a little uneven tonight. He's had a really good
best. Not his best.
Yeah, he's had a good postseason. I thought he was especially rocky in the first period. I will give him credit here. He is settling down a bit. JR points out big block, absolutely, as I just mentioned. Wagner took that thing in the ribs. I mean, just absolutely right in the ribs. Looked like he was in some serious pain.
All right, I got a question for you, Nick.
All right.
Game 1, we saw, what was it, around 2.5 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Brendan Moore pulled the goalie, and then the Bruins immediately scored an empty netter. Getting around 4 minutes now. When do you think Carolina pulls the goalie?
I think because of the way they're playing right now, 5-on-5, and the kind of momentum right here is I'm worried about a goal coming up in the next 30 seconds, the way this thing's moving.
Yeah, keep it like this, right? For like
I would that helps. Nice little whiff there. I think you keep it 5-on-5 till about 2 minutes. You know, about
right.
2 minutes left. Buck 45, 2 minutes. Nice play there by DeBrusque on the forecheck. Absolutely fantastic play. There's my guy, Heinen, trying to keep it in the zone. See if this steadies a little bit. I was a little bit nervous, and here's another chance. Nice play. Oh my God. I'm about to shit my pants. So that was a great play. You can freeze my face, and it'll be on. It'll be all over social media tomorrow. And this was the moment when Nick Cattle shit his pants on third period live.
Like Fancred really took off that night. The night that Nick defecated on air.
When did you know it was going to be a special night? When Nick shit himself. That's when things went above and beyond. Look at Wagner. Wagner's leaving, man. Wagner can hardly even walk right now.
Yeah.
Great play. Great play by Grzelcyk there. He saved a golden opportunity. They still got a good opportunity out of that. But here's the shot block. They're showing it right now. I mean, this is just – it actually looks like it got him in the arm, in the forearm wrist area, it looks like, right?
Yikes.
Yeah. It didn't get him in the side. It hit him in the forearm. We might see Achari game 4. I mean, that's –
yeah, and he's available.
That's a blast.
Yeah. That's
a blast. Yeah, that's the good news. I mean, Achari was skating today. Seemed like he was a healthy scratch, so that's the good news. Joanne says, I have not seen the Bruins take advantage of Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, I just think
he's definitely made some idiot plays, you know?
Yeah, the 5-on-3 we mentioned earlier. Then he took that shot with no traffic in front. It was an easy save by Tuukka when, Carolina had a little bit of the momentum. A turnover by Bergeron. It was that Chara who saved his ass a little bit there at the line. This first, I'd like to see the top line do something too, by the way. Tim says under 2 to pull the goalie. Yeah, I mean, again, around 145, 2 minutes, somewhere on that point, I would do it.
Yep, I think so too.
Julio says, here we go, winning time, hopefully. Tim says Wagner might be done. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a doctor, but when you take a puck clean to look like the forearm or the wrist, and here he is getting pulled right now at 2:02. Yep. So that answers that question.
Exactly. Not that Carolina's good on the power play anyway. I mean, I know this isn't a power play, but you know what I mean. Like the man advantage, they haven't looked very good anyway, but we'll see what happens.
And there's Tuukka. Tuukka again with the save. And, here we go with the situation, right? You need one guy to make a play and hopefully hit the empty net, and this shit's over. So let's see if it happens. I agree, by the way. Brendan Moore pulling him, I said again, about 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, that was a good call.
He pulled him at 2:02. I agree with that. 2:30, maybe a little bit too aggressive early on in game 1. I think he heard the criticism, and so he waits until the 2 minute, until 2 minutes on the clock to pull him. So I think that's the right call here. They did have some momentum with the 5-on-5. It feels like the Bruins have somewhat kind of taken that away. And you look at the stats, Tuukka, 35 shots faced, 1 goal allowed. And it just broken record, right? But the guy has been the story of the playoffs.
He really has been. And there was a time not that long ago where Bobrovsky was out playing him, and then at around game 4 or so, he just stormed past them. Was great in games 5 and 6, and then all 3 of these games, he has been playing his best hockey ever. I mean, he has just been fantastic, shutting up a whole lot of people that think he's not good enough. He's been dominant. There's no other way to put it.
And of course, now it's really all about doing the right thing here, right? I mean, you got to win face-offs. You got to clear the damn puck. You got to, just do all the little things right now. Don't turn the puck over. Don't be careless. Don't get excited and make a bad play. Just keep your emotions in check and make sure that you don't do anything incredibly stupid at this point.
Right.
There's Hamilton. I was thinking, watch, Hamilton's gonna he's gonna get this by Rask as we just shit on the guy. A minute 32. That's out of the zone. Thank you very much. So 131 with the face-off coming up. Tim mentions a sequence that we had talked about a little bit earlier, where Tuukka saved 4 shots in that first period. It was just unreal.
Awesome.
I mean. And they just showed that highlight package. It was just unreal. 2 or 3 of those stops were ridiculous.
Well, he's one of those guys too he just is in the right position. Like, he's not going to do the crazy I'm on my back, gloves in the air, kick save. Like, he's just in the perfect spot almost every time.
So they're 90 seconds away. See if they can do something here. I like, I will say this. It seems to me that's the mistake right there by Chara. It's a bad play by Chara. He just, pretty much whiffs on the puck.
Yeah.
That's the kind of play I'm talking about. You can't allow that. You got to be clean. You got to be clean in this final minute right now. You have to be. Oh. With a high stick? Yes. Played by a high stick. I think that was Dougie Hamilton again. By the way,
probably.
I think you were with me, right? We were doing a
last game.
No, I think you were doing a show with me on 98.5 when Hamilton got drafted.
Oh, wow.
I think we were doing that. Yeah. It was like a Friday night. I think we were doing that.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember talking about Dougie. Yeah. So 54.8 here again. No plays like we just got from Chara.
Right.
Got to be clean.
Right.
And we got a stick flying around.
I mean, this is as desperate as you can possibly get. I mean, this is the season for Carolina. This is it. I mean, you have a minute to score a goal. Then you get the intermission. Maybe you get an overtime. You come back. Maybe you have a series. Other than that, you're down 3-0. Series is over. Absolutely.
There we go. Get down there. Oh, I wanted to see a turnover right there and Marchand finish it and all of Carolina cry. Ah! Oh, Corrali. My man. Corrali with a forecheck. Get it out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh, what are you doing? Yeah. Keefe and Cattle stay undefeated on Fancred. 3-0, baby.
3-0.
Bring it home. Winning time. Winning time. Tuukka Rask. Absolute.
Guys,
people say, no, you want to talk about, oh, he hasn't stolen a game. It's not really stealing a game. It's not really stealing a game. It's,
I think he stole a game.
That's stealing a game.
He stole a game right there. Right. I think he stole a game.
Tuukka stole a game tonight. Unbelievable. That first period, ridiculous. Jim says this series is done.
Over.
Joanne.
Over.
With a simple yes.
Agreed. Over.
3 Zippo. Cattles and Keefe. The magical connection just continues. Imagine if we ever did. Just imagine if we ever did an actual radio show in Boston.
We'd be undefeated.
Boston may never lose.
We'd be undefeated.
Never lose. You want to stay tuned, Fancred, for the next third period live. Maybe it'll be game 4. Maybe it'll be, hopefully, fingers crossed, the Stanley Cup final. For Keefe,
get excited.
WEI, Nick Cattles, ESPN Radio. Remember, when you talk about this game tomorrow night, you lead off with the fact, not that Tuukka Rask was unbelievable, lead off with the fact that Keefe and Cattles are now 3-0 on Fancred.
Unbeaten. Pretty good.
We're unbeatable. As simple as that. Everybody enjoy your night. Bruins go up 3-0. We'll talk to you next time on Third Period Live right here on Fancred.